Are you curious about what it's like living in Naperville, Illinois? This video is for you. I'm Pearson. I actually grew up in Naperville, moved away, and moved back to Naperville. So I can give you my inside scoop on what it's like living in Naperville. I'm Pearson. I am actually a local realtor serving western suburbs and downtown Chicago. I make weekly videos just like this one on community information, real estate, and driving tours. If you or anyone you know is looking to move to the area or sell, feel free to reach out. My info's below. I've been helping people just like you move to the Chicago suburbs and find their dream home. I've been helping a lot of people move from out of state right here to the Chicago suburbs. All right, so I moved back to Naperville, the town I grew up in, and never thought I'd move back to Naperville. And it's been a few years, so every once in a while I kind of reflect on how things are so different living in Naperville versus living in Chicago. So these are some of the things that I thought about that are really different. Okay, the first one would be schools. So Naperville is known for the top-rated public schools. Many people know that. So my daughter goes to public school here in Naperville, and she gets to ride the school bus. If we lived in our old neighborhood in Chicago, there would have been no school bus service. So that would have been a big difference, that our daughter gets to ride a public school bus versus no school bus in the city where we used to live, our old neighborhood. Junior high children actually rode the CTA bus with just the commuters going to work. You'd see how the junior high kids get on and get off and go to their school. So a little different. Another difference I'm just thinking back now would be the daycare. In Chicago, it was so hard to find a daycare for our daughter. There was like wait lists for most of the daycares. It was very competitive to get into. We moved to the suburbs. It was not that hard at all. We had a choice of a few options of places that had available spaces. So a little bit more availability. And we did notice the daycare was a little bit cheaper in the Chicago suburbs versus downtown Chicago. Another difference I noticed about living in Naperville, this one you may not notice if you're not used to living in a large city, would be doing errands was a little bit different living in Naperville. We were used to living in the Wicker Park neighborhood. I walked everywhere for my errands, and I mean everywhere. I walked to Target, I walked to CVS, I walked everywhere, which it was great. I got a lot of exercise. Living in Naperville, you have to drive to most places, unfortunately. So I don't get as much walking, so I actually have to plan out my exercise into my day and fit some walking so I can get some exercise in, because when I lived in Chicago, it was just naturally part of my day, walking everywhere. So that is a difference I have noticed. Another one, just gonna sound silly, garbage collection is so much better in Naperville versus Chicago, which you may think it's just garbage, but you don't understand until you've lived in a large city. So it's really great, especially the holidays. Where we used to live, we had a communal garbage dumpster that we dumped all of our garbage into. It would fill up so fast that this is when we had a baby with diapers, and she was in diapers. When the garbage truck would clear out, we would quickly run out, collect the diaper pail, garbage bag of diapers, and dump it in the dumpster, because we didn't want it in our place, in our condo, for a full week, because their dumpster filled up so fast. And then when it comes to snowing in Naperville, so if it snows, garbage collection day, it still happens. You still get your garbage collected on snowy days. If there's a holiday, it's just the next day that your garbage comes. In Chicago, if it's over like 6 inches, the garbage trucks cannot get down the alleys, so you won't get garbage collected for that week. It can take a while till your garbage comes again. Garbage is just collecting, overflowing in the dumpsters. And if it's a holiday, you may miss that week. So it kind of builds up and gets kind of gross in the alleys. So I do not miss the garbage collection in Chicago. The last one would be parking. I don't miss dealing with parking in Chicago. I will say I was an expert parallel parker. In Naperville, you do have to drive everywhere, but there's parking. There's parking lots everywhere. Downtown Naperville, those public parking lots are free. You don't have to pay for where you're at. You don't have to look and think, can I park here? Is this my zone I can park in? Will I get a parking ticket? You don't have to think about that as much in Naperville. There are parking lots that are free. It is a little competitive on the weekends finding parking spots, but all the public parking lots have a number of spots that are still available. So I'd say it's a lot better than in Chicago. I used to have to plan our outings. Where am I gonna park? Sometimes it would take me 20 minutes to find a parking spot. So I don't miss dealing with the parking living in Chicago, even though I am an expert parallel parker now from my experience of living in Chicago. So that's kind of some of the differences. I just thought every once in a while I will think of differences of living in Naperville versus living in Chicago. It's just a different experience, and my family and I have just loved the experience of living in Naperville versus Chicago. If you're planning to move to the Chicago area, specifically the western suburbs, I'd love to help you out. My information is below. Feel free to reach out. I've been helping people just like you move to the Naperville area. Stick around for my next video.